Welcome back to another NQ Ninja review of January 21st, 2026. Today was actually a pretty nice day as far as we look at the movement of the day. So let's just go through what we saw today. I'm going to stay to the charts today. I did talk about this in the last video of we could get this push up to this trend line. Let me show you this. So if I show you on the daily, this is actually what we're seeing, which is a beautiful, perfect play here. So what we're seeing is we had this trend line where we bounced, and at any time frame, right? So this is a scalable structure and technique. No matter if you're on the 1 minute, the 15-second, whatever it is, right? The daily. When we break a trend line, we often want to go back and touch that trend line before we make a bigger move. So today we are getting that move up. You can see it's actually there's still about an hour and 15 minutes left in the trading day. So we are making our way up to this resistance level 3 I have on my charts here. So this is just on the 1 hour. You can see we just made a huge move. But I'd be interested to see what we do right here. Now that we actually got to this trend line, I would expect some sort of rejection right here. But you're seeing it in live real time of kind of what we're doing here. So what I want to show today is how could we see this move before it happened, right? That's kind of what we're trying to do. So let's just kind of talk through it. So this morning so here's 9 o'clock this morning, we start to make our way up, okay? So we can kind of show this right here. So, this is the 5 minute, and we had some good liquidity build right here. So you can see we kept bouncing off this area to then make our move up. Now, what could I have used from a structure standpoint? We talk about structure. You could see this as some sort of W. So we had that move where we push down, we try to pull back up, we break down, we then try to push back up, which we do. That would have been a nice play. And that was a good, how many points is that? So 46 to 103. So you're talking almost, 50 points? So you have that move, but then we moved down off of that. So it looks like at 8:10, we have this like controlled move down. I want you to see this. So look at these candles. They're very small. They're all about the same size. It's very controlled, right? There's not a lot of volume going on pre-market. So what you could have done here is you could create just a channel, right? And what I'm thinking here is, okay, so earlier in the morning, we really kind of built up liquidity. We make a move up, right? Again, I'm not looking at any crazy indicators. I'm just reading the candles in real time to give me the best opportunity to make a good trade and a good entry. So we make this move down. Where could I make an entry to the upside? So most people in this would be thinking down, right? Since there's all these red candles, but we think up because we know we have this zone down here. So at this point on the 5 minute, let me kind of zoom in a little bit more. I'll kind of share a little bit just what I'm thinking intraday. So I'm going to zoom down to the 2 minute. Sorry for moving all over, but let's just kind of look at this, right? So we moved up and then we moved back down. So what can I do to make this entry for the long? So first things I want to notice is that we dip into this demand zone here, right? And then we move up, we make a higher low, another higher low, and then this is the biggest piece of it all. At 8:48, we break above the channel to the upside. And I would want to wait for some sort of pullback, and we do. We get it here. We don't go all the way back down to the top of the channel, but you can see right here at 62, right? So let's just say you get in at let's just say 67, right? So let's just say you get in here. Where would you want to take that to? So being that we've been, again, we have to look at the macro level and the micro level. So macro level, we've just been dumping to the downside, right? Micro, I'm thinking, okay, we probably need some sort of pullback up. We talked about this yesterday. I need some sort of move up to cover the previous candle. So if I look at the 4 hour, let me show you this. The 4 hour here. And let me get to where we are. Yesterday, we just had a huge move down. So I'm thinking we probably want to try to get a move back up, right, of sorts. So let me go back to the 5. I'm sorry for going back and forth, but this is kind of how I read the charts, right? They start to align. So we get that break and we start to break up, right? We start to move up. My first level would be, up here. So we're looking at around like 150. Why do I say that? Because there's liquidity here, right? We can see it right here. There's liquidity. And that liquidity actually pays off or plays out later in the day as well. So this was resistance. We come down. We find support. We break down. We find support. Where do we go from there? Once we break that channel, we move up, right? So a couple things we can see here, right? Again, there's a lot of nuances that I'm seeing here. But what I want to show you is we have a 3-bar play on the 5. So we got green, red, and then green, meaning that we're getting this bull flag to the upside, right? We're breaking, we're pushing up, and I would expect this to push back up into this level, which is where we get to, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is that we just continue this strength. So, at this point, I probably wouldn't play anything. Again, we have to understand the time of the day. So this is 9:10. So we want to make sure that we take a trade that just makes sense. Again, we don't want to risk. It's all about probabilities, right? What's the highest probability? So we move up. We hit my first resistance level up here. We then reject. We come back down to this supply, which is now becoming support. So we can set this to support. Okay, so it's a demand. And what can we do here? So what I would do here is I could go back down to the 2-minute. I'm not going to do it, but we could to find a better entry here. So we could take that entry once we saw it. Now, this is a little tricky because it is still open. So, 9:30, again, 9:40, we're still in that kind of that time frame. But you could, if you wanted to, change that back to supply. What we could do is we could go down to the 2-minute. Let's find that on the charts on the 2-minute. So it's right here. We could, again, want to make this as easy as possible, right? I'm not looking to make this some crazy thing, but we have this channel that we just, again, came down. There's several structures that are playing out here. You can see the flag here. So we move up, break back control. We break out of that flag to the upside, right? And so now what we're doing is we're making that move up. And then we create, I'm just going to show you this. We created a head and shoulders. Do you see it right here? So there's a shoulder here. There's the head. And then on this side, there's not really a defined shoulder, but this is typically what you will see, something like this, right? It's not going to give you a lot of, you probably could go down to like the 1-minute. I don't trade on the 1-minute, but you could do that. But again, this is just the head and shoulders or a cup, right? An inverse cup back down to this area that we were at. So we had that move. So you could actually play that down if you wanted to. Although I'm looking at the trend and I'm thinking, okay, this is going up. Okay. So we had that. Then what do? We actually break out of this right here at 9:36. And then we make our way up off of that. And look at this. We're just getting higher lows every candle on the 2-minute. Higher lows every time. Now, I'll show you my trade today. Did pretty well myself. So I actually made $3K on this today. But what did I see? Because it's not about what you're making. It's the result. It's not about results. It's the process, right? If you can get the process down, you can scale this to making 5-digit, 6-digit trades. So what I saw was when we got up to this level, I saw that we were actually using this resistance, and I didn't change this. We used this resistance level, this supply level, as demand. So we can switch this to demand. Now you're seeing what we're doing, right? We're on top of this demand zone, and we're really just kind of setting this support level to the upside. So I took a trade around I think it was like 302, I believe. So it was like around here. I took that trade. When did I see that trade? I saw the trade actually up here. I was thinking in my head, this could probably go down, maybe hit this zone, and then bounce off of that. And that's exactly what happened today. Took it there and actually took it up to this resistance 2 level around 400. So that was a 100-point move for me, which is a pretty big move. I don't typically go for 100, but I just easily saw it today. Some days you just see it, and I did see it today on that play. Now I want you to kind of see what we're doing here. Okay, so we move up again. Structure is everything. I keep saying that, but look what we did. Created the day was just a cup. That's all it was today. It was a cup, and we came back down to the origination here. So these zones played out. I mentioned that earlier, where we had this zone down here, right? We just drew that in this video, and that's exactly where we landed today. And we kind of just chopped it out a little bit, and then it looks like we made our way back up to the upside, right? And we just did the same thing over again, and then we moved back up. So it looks like we're pretty strong right now. We're actually trying to break out of this resistance level 3. So a lot of strength today. But this move down probably really killed a lot of people. But again, we're seeing the move before it happens. We're saying, okay, what is the structure? Where are my zones? And where is my entry to take this? So, if I took something like this, here, let's draw it. So if we say, okay, well, we're back in this zone again. What are we doing? We're really kind of building liquidity. And that's something you need to identify of building liquidity, meaning at this point, right? At this point, we're going to make a move one way or the other. We're really going to start to break down, or we're really going to try to break up. And you see what we did? We broke out of that, right? We kind of created this shelf. And then once we broke above this area, it's pretty much game over. And we know that we're probably going to go up here. Why? Because we have a cup playing out right here, right? There's our cup. There's our top. Now, I would be careful once we got to this level, because last time we got here, right, we pushed down. But we had so much strength off of this that we just went straight up. So that's, in a nutshell, was today. A great trading day. Again, practicing and just seeing it with your eye, these levels, is really going to help you become a great profitable trader. So that was today. Again, I'll be posting the YouTube post around 9 a.m. in the morning of what we could potentially be doing for the day tomorrow. So make sure you check those out. Thank you for viewing, and hope you subscribe, like the video, and we'll talk to you later.